I have given this talk to various individuals in my one on one sessions to questions centering around people soliciting advice on how to break into the world of information technology, fondly called IT. Knowing their curiosity is well intentioned, I have tried to take it as seriously as I possibly can, going back to when I started this journey about 2 decades ago and documenting what I believe is necessary for anyone interested in starting out in the IT industry. My first challenge was, how do I title this work? Knowing there is a lot of fluff out there and there are bad actors who are ready to prey on the curiosity of well meaning people trying to better themselves economically by selling them half baked, ill prepared boot camps promising six-figure salaries straight out of their 6 months program. These boot camps produce people who are more disillusioned coming out of the program than they went in, because of the emphasis of these boot camps is always on the wrong syllable, making money quickly. So, what do you call a no fluff, no catch expose to the world of IT that anyone with zero technology experience can benefit from? I've settled on the ultimate zero BS to launching your career in information technology. Why should you care? Well, I seriously believe that we are very close to the point where you wouldn't have a choice not to care if you want to be relevant in any chosen career. No business in any industry these days maintain any form of strategic advantage or what is usually called differentiation without information technology. Let that sink in for a minute. What we are saying here is that for any business to stay relevant, be they in the moms and pops, aviation, healthcare, insurance, scientific, government, how much value they produce for their clients, which is directly proportional to their profitability, is dependent on how much they can exploit information technology. If this is the case, then everybody, and I mean everybody, will have to be some kind of IT literate, as all jobs will require some literacy in information technology, including the ones AI will be taking away or augmenting. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So, back to our IT curious, well intentioned lady or gentleman who probably is an immigrant in a new country, most likely not able to transition a high level educational degree and in our home country to the new home, but has been told by everybody that IT is the way to go. What would she need to take her from where she is right now to a point where she has all the information to make an intelligent decision? This is what the remainder of this talk will be about. So you are ready, you are excited, bags packed, already at the airport for your first of several journeys that would eventually take you to information technology proficiency. Today's destination, however, being the maiden voyage, will be understanding how and where to get started. Now, my assumption is you have already settled or you have a general idea of the why within yourself, or you wouldn't be listening to this. Once our flight gets to a cruising altitude of about 32,000 feet, from this vantage position, you will be able to view the entire information technology landscape. Understanding the information technology universe is the first step to knowing where you will fit into the puzzle. At this point, the pilot, my humble self, We'll explain what information technology is. I will use this quick IT definition to segment IT into convenient categories on which the different career space we will be discussing will be based. Once we have a general idea of those categories of convenience and the career paths that are available in them, I will demonstrate my 100% shameless bias by gently prodding you to choose a pathway that I believe, having been in this business for close to 2 decades, is the path of least resistance for someone trying to break into the IT industry. With a vast array of specialization in IT, picking a lane to concentrate on at the outset is important in keeping your focus and attaining success in as little time as practicable. Then I will share a practical framework on how to get yourself prepared to succeed in IT. You will have a lot to learn, and you will have to learn a lot in a relatively short span of time. So having a systematic way to learn will go a long way in helping you to achieve your aim. If based on the information you will find here today, decide that IT is the right choice for you at this point in time, we will talk about the role of mentoring, experience through doing, and securing the right job opportunity. At this point, I will require you to return to your seat, fasten your seatbelt as we prepare for the final descent to our destination, where I will conclude by pointing you to some real-life resources to get you started today. I'm sure you've heard that famous acronym IT numerous times, and maybe to you it sounds glamorous and you'd like to get in on the action, or it may even connote a sense of mysticism to you, almost magical. Whichever side of the spectrum you fall, let's take a look at what IT actually is. You already know we are in the information age, brought about by the pervasiveness of data and how cheap it is to be stored, processed, and analyzed. In essence, we have the data, information, knowledge value chain used by businesses to make data-driven decisions that ensure they remain profitable. Knowing how the word information relates to information technology makes defining information technology a lot easier. Therefore, we can define information technology as the various technology components necessary for an information system to operate. The obvious question from the above definition would be, what then is an information system? The easiest way to understand an information system is to look at biological systems, like the respiratory system, the circulatory system, etc. Even if you loathe biology in your previous life, you can appreciate that those biological systems subserve a single function. The respiratory system ensures that your body gets all the oxygen it can use and gets rid of any carbon dioxide, while the circulatory system is the transport infrastructure that ensures oxygen travels everywhere it's needed in the body. These biological systems are made up of organs whose job is to ensure that the single purpose of the system is achieved. We talk about the nose, the trachea, organs of the respiratory system, while the heart and blood vessels being organs of the circulatory system. With this biologic system metaphor at the back of your mind, think about any business and you will realize it has a singular aim as well: to provide value to its customers. When the business is for profit, this value is expected to translate to increase in profit. In essence, you can look at any business as a system. Just like biologic systems, a business achieves its singular aim by having components, organs, working together to achieve this aim. Therefore, an information system refers to any organized combination of people, information technology, policies, and procedures that stores, transforms, and disseminates information in an organization. The objective here is to utilize the various components of an information system, people, our beloved IT, policies and procedures, the organs, to create value for business customers. It should now be clear that information system does not exist in isolation. It is an integral organ of the profit-making, value-producing machinery of any business system, regardless of industry. Now that we know that IT cuts across all industries, helping in the value-add process of businesses, let us revisit the definition of IT we gave above. Earlier, we defined information technology as the various technology components necessary for an information system to operate. What are these technology components? The answer to that question gives us a convenient classification useful when we start to delve into the career spaces of IT. Traditionally, the technology components we refer to when talking about IT includes the hardware, software, and network. Simply put, hardware refers to any technology components you can touch. Since we are talking about IT and our primary conduit is a computer, those components include the monitor, the keyboard, mouse, touchscreen, optical scanner, central processing unit, storage device, either your hard drive or your memory, etc. These are referred to as hardware. Now, software, on the other hand, refers to programs or applications, or apps, as the cool kids now call it. These run on our various hardware. You can touch hardware but not software, because software is computer programs. Examples of software include your Microsoft Office suite, accounting software like QuickBooks, and surprise, Amazon.com. Yes, Amazon is software as well. Network in IT refer to all the ways the software and hardware components interconnect, that is, talk to each other. Now, before you start scratching your head, absolutely your computers and computing devices talk to each other, and this communication is facilitated by the network component of IT. One very popular network that will bring all this home is the internet. Networks facilitate interconnectivity of other IT components, and network tools include routers, bridges, and switches. Now, if I had written this work about 20 years ago, this section about understanding the IT landscape would have ended right here. But because innovation in IT is almost at lightning speed, and 2 decades ago now seems like the Stone Age, we need to incorporate some new components in the discussion of the IT landscape. A discussion about the IT landscape would not be complete if we do not talk about the cloud. There is no way I could possibly exhaust the topic of cloud technology here, but to appreciate how transformative cloud technology is, you need to go back to how IT operated before the cloud. You see, before the cloud, if you had an enterprise that wanted to exploit IT, that enterprise will have to buy all the necessary hardware, which included your servers, your client computers, peripherals like cables, network equipment, including routers, switches, bridges, etc. Then the enterprise will have to find a suitable, secure location where they will rack and stack the servers, configure the network, purchase and install hardware, network software, and have those configured to work together as well. We have not even started talking about building the IT product, which is usually a business or mission critical software, which was the primary reason the enterprise exists. For now, I will spare you the details, but you get the gist. Prior to the cloud, the enterprise had to shell out serious dinero pre-startup of operation to exploit IT. Enter cloud providers. What cloud providers promise is for the enterprise to focus on their business, the reason they actually exist, the strategic advantage that makes money for the business, and leave all those pre-startup infrastructure we highlighted above to the cloud providers. In essence, the cloud provider will provide the compute, which are the servers, network, and storage infrastructure in redundant, secure data centers, and the enterprise can now rent those resources on a pay-per-use basis. Apart from eliminating the huge upfront cost of infrastructure ownership that the cloud affords, it makes experimentation of ideas possible to both individual and enterprises. For example, let's assume you had an idea to build another social media application. Like we don't have enough of those ones already. Prior to the cloud, you are stuck with all the pre-startup infrastructure cost upfront. Then you would have to develop your application, which is your business. With the cloud, all you have to do is sign up with your cloud provider, and you can spin up your needed infrastructure in minutes as opposed to months pre-cloud. Then you start building your application. If along the line you find that your idea was not viable, you can not literally destroy, but decommission the cloud resources you used and pay only for your usage of those resources. For an industry that is constantly changing and needs a quick turnaround, the cloud proposition is a game-changing no-brainer. Therefore, the cloud is all your IT infrastructure, hardware, software, networking, and security provided to you by cloud provider as a service. It's literally the same way your power, that is your electrical provider, provides electricity to you as a service, and you don't need to build your own power plants or generators. There are quite a handful of cloud providers out there, but the ones you should be aware of include Amazon Web Services or AWS, Microsoft Azure or Azure, and Google Cloud Platform, GCP. Now that you have an idea of the major components of IT, which are your hardware, software, network, and now cloud, I would like to introduce you to the components that brings everything together to ensure that IT does what IT says. Remember, at the end of the day, IT is needed to ensure the information system subserves its one function, making the enterprise profitable. What makes all these components run like a well-oiled machine to achieve this goal? The management side of IT is one that I see is given little or no mention when IT landscape is discussed. IT management is the glue that ensures that the other organs of the information system, including the human resources, people, policies, and procedures, work together efficiently and support the need of the enterprise. IT management includes project management, product management, etc. Now that you are familiar with the components of information technology, which are hardware, software, network, cloud, and IT management, each of these components form a viable career path that new entrants into IT can explore. Depending on your interests and time dedication to learning, any of these component-based career paths remain viable and rewarding from a remuneration standpoint. As a software developer, definitely I have a bias for the software component. However, this is not a blind bias. In my experience and with the advent of cloud, everything is now software. You could actually say everything, everywhere, all is software these days. In fact, there is a concept in cloud engineering called infrastructure as code, IAC, whereby you can provision your entire infrastructure, hardware, software, network security as software. You will have to take my word for it right now, but I promise you will understand as you gain more experience in the industry. That's not all. Apart from the fact that everything is now software, the software component career pathway has an easier entry barrier. What I mean by that is you can start building software today. You can start writing programs today. You already have all the tools you need, which is your computer. You don't need any specialized equipment to get started. Get your hands dirty and start gaining knowledge and experience. As a result, I will start and put more emphasis on software careers. That's the plug I promised earlier. However, these concepts are applicable to other IT components as well. Software careers are rewarding because you get to build solutions to business problems. As a matter of fact, you would hear software you built referred to simply as solution. In my experience, I've seen just a few things more gratifying than providing technical solution to business problems. To discuss software careers in a practical talk like this, it will be wise to use a popular type of software as our model. Web applications like Amazon.com, etc., have become such an integral part of our lives that we cannot imagine life without those applications. These web application software were built as a solution to some problem. And from a software construction perspective, are made of 3 layers or tiers. This is a watered down version of a popular software architecture called the client-server architecture that we will use for this discussion. Do not worry too much if you don't know the details about the architecture right now. You would learn as you progress in your IT career. These 3 layers of the web application software are the front-end layer, the business logic layer, and the data layer. The front-end layer, technically called the presentation layer, is the graphical user interface, what we call GUI. It is what you see when you visit the web application. For example, if you point your browser right now to www.amazon.com, you are greeted by a well-designed and beautiful GUI. The business logic layer is where all the business logic necessary for the business to function resides. You don't normally see the business logic layer like you see the GUI, but you interact with the business logic layer throughout your journey in the web application. An example is, consider you want to purchase a book from Amazon. You search for the book, add it to cart, and check out. Ensuring that Amazon has the book in inventory, tracking your shopping cart, correctly charging your credit card, and deducting the quantity you purchased from inventory, and many more tasks are subserved by the business logic layer. The final layer, the data layer, keeps a record of all the relevant data needed by the web application. This includes, but not limited to, customer data, product data, transaction data, shipping data, etc. This layer is where the business logic layer comes to ask if the book you are ordering is available right now. This layer tracks every step of your transaction from getting on the web application all the way till you receive the book you ordered. It is in this layer that your purchase behavior can be retrieved for profiling and analysis. I must mention that these layers communicate with each other to ensure the web application work seamlessly. Each layer forms a career path in the software space. In the front-end layer, you have front-end designers or developers who are responsible for designing and developing the beautiful GUI that end users interact with. To become a front-end developer, the technologies you need to be proficient includes HTML, hypertext markup language. This is the markup language that provides a scaffold for the web application, much like the bricks used to build a physical structure. CSS, or cascading style sheets. This is responsible for the design and aesthetic outlook of the web application, just like you are painting your physical structure. And JavaScript, the computer programming language, facilitates the behavior and functionality of the GUI. Think about this as adding the lightning fixture in your physical structure and making sure they work. People specializing in the business logic layer are usually referred to as full stack developers, or more commonly just software developers. The technology needed by these professionals include mainstream programming language used to build business and mission critical systems. The common programming language includes, but not limited to, C, C++, Java, C#, Python, JavaScript, etc. Now, in the data layer, the choices are more diverse and includes the following broad spaces: data engineering, data analytics, and data science. Data engineers are responsible for designing and developing the right type of databases for the enterprise and ensuring that all the categories of data generated and used by the business are systematically stored, shaped in the form that would allow the business to derive maximum information and ensure the data is available to all data consumers in the enterprise. Data engineers also include professionals that administer the enterprise data and ensure that all the data stores stay online and available, perform adequately, and are properly backed up to mitigate both human and natural disasters. At the entry level of your career as a data engineer, the technology to learn is the structured query language, or SQL as it's fondly called. SQL is the programming language for all relational data and databases. The relatively easier learning curve, simple development environment, and versatility makes SQL a prime gateway tool for those aspiring to make an inroad into software development. Ancillary tools include extract, transform, and load tools like integration services, talent, cloud data pipeline tools like Data Factory, Synapse Analytics, etc. Data analysts take well-stored, available, and curated enterprise data with a goal of discovering meaningful and useful information. Data analysts craft data into stories, through reports, or for analysis to support the critical business decision-making process. Data analysts are expected to be well-versed in data visualization tools, including Power BI, Tableau, etc., in addition to having a good knowledge of SQL as well. Now, finally, data scientists use the scientific method to perform advanced analytics in order to extract value from data. They take an hypothesis, that is a thought, through to making a data-driven conclusion that usually helps the business make predictions about how certain data points affect the business bottom line. Example, you run a company that rents bicycles in the city, and you collect several data points on the usage of your bicycles. A data scientist in your organization can use data points like the time of day, the weather, humidity, seasons to predict your year-round revenue using machine learning models. A business with this knowledge will be able to deploy its resources efficiently year-round and minimize waste, leading to increased profit. The data science career is where machine learning and artificial intelligence are used. Quality assurance. No discussion of software career is complete without mentioning quality assurance engineers. Quality assurance is a practice that involves monitoring and evaluating all aspects of the software development process to ensure that the final product meets predefined quality standards, including functionality, performance, usability, and security. Quality assurance engineers require an in-depth knowledge of the software space to be able to formulate systematic tests that will identify potential issues early in the software development lifecycle. If all the components of information technology were an orchestra, IT management will be the conductor. At the end of the day, for IT to be truly valuable to any business, IT has to ensure that the strategic advantage of the business is achieved as efficiently as possible. The IT management career ensures that all the components of IT work to achieve this objective. Some people already have management skills from other careers. These individuals can leverage these skills as they transfer well into IT careers as well, like your business analysts, scrum masters, project managers, portfolio managers, product owners, and IT managers. Now, we can't complete a section on software careers without talking about the new kid on the block, cybersecurity. With most digital communications as well as software traversing public networks like the internet as opposed to private data centers pre-cloud, it is imperative that those networks be secured from both inadvertent and or malicious vulnerabilities. This is where cybersecurity comes in. Cybersecurity is a relatively new career field in IT. It is actually a technological solution to a problem technology caused as a result of everything, including software, now residing on public networks. The internet being the case in point. Cybersecurity utilizes knowledge in hardware, software, and network components with a higher weight placed on the network component. Hence, a background knowledge of those components is needed to succeed in this career. As you can see, the IT landscape is very vast and diverse. We have only been discussing software careers on a scratch the surface level, and we are not done, let alone talk about hardware and networking. As a result, to succeed as a new entrant in this IT world, you need to stay focused. This means you need to decide early on which components, hardware, software, networking, cloud, or IT management, you see yourself succeeding in. Once you make that decision, you need to pick a career in that component field. As an example, suppose I manage to sway you into the software component of IT. You will need to decide if you are interested in the front-end business logic or data layer. I would like to chip in an observation based on my experience in the software industry. In my opinion, the data layer offers the least resistance to entry into IT in the software component space. Apart from the pervasiveness of data, every business on the planet relies on data to be successful. The learning curve is not as steep as the other career options. The main technology you need to learn is the structured query language, SQL, and unlike other programming languages in the software space, you do not need to learn frameworks, and your development environment is very user-friendly. Therefore, I will advise new entrants into this industry to start with data. Picking a technology to concentrate on gives you the opportunity to have a very strong technical depth. You get in-depth training in your chosen field and learn everything you possibly can in that field. With the experience you gain in technical depth, you will begin to see the correlation of your chosen field with the other IT components. With experience, you will begin to realize everything depends on everything, and this will contribute to your technical breadth, where you learn about how other IT component spaces interact with your chosen space. A good illustration of technical depth and technical breadth is to envision the capital letter T. The vertical section of the T represents technical depth, while the horizontal part of the T represents technical breadth. This should be your model to learning in IT. When you decided to change your career to IT or begin an IT career, what you inadvertently signed up for included a lifetime of non-stop learning. IT is one field that is constantly changing, and as a practitioner, you need to position yourself to be abreast of those changes. One thing I can guarantee you is that you will not stop learning. There is an ocean of knowledge out there in this interesting field, and there is always something new to learn or something old to refresh your understanding. Mostly, the fundamentals seldom change, and the knowledge is portable between technologies. However, you will need to be plugged in to new things as they unfold. There are tons of help out there to assist you in your lifelong learning journey. Organizations, especially cloud providers, are literally giving out learning and training material free of charge. We will talk about those resources later on. Let's see a few of the resources that you can utilize to kickstart your learning. The public library. One of the hidden gems of our society is the public library. Check out your local library catalog online and you will be shocked with the technology material they carry. Massive open online courses offer both paid and free options that you will benefit from. Popular massive open online courses provider include EDX, Coursera, Udacity, Udemy. Now there are also cloud provider training. Major cloud providers also offer training that take the new entrant through the spectrum of learning IT from beginner to proficient level. Cloud providers want to teach you to use their services mostly for free. It's a win-win situation you should afford yourself of. Using these learning services is a great way to learn IT concepts that are necessary to build a strong foundation. Popular offerings by cloud providers with the links to those offerings include Microsoft Learn and AWS Skill Builder. You should avail yourself of these learning opportunities as you begin your IT career journey. We talked about how vast and diverse the IT space is and the ocean of knowledge out there earlier in our discussion. The challenge for the new entrant into the IT field is that this can be very overwhelming. This is where a mentor comes in handy. The role of a mentor is that of a tour guide. Think about the last time you were at a national park. If you wandered all by yourself, there's a high probability you may miss out on important vistas at the park, especially if it's your first time. Even if you eventually figured out where all the park gems are located, it would take you a longer time than if you tagged along with a tour guide. The tour guide has a thorough knowledge of the park landscape and has walked the grounds a number of times. The same goes for an IT mentor. With an adequate knowledge of the IT landscape, the mentor should be able to draw out a plan that would take the new entrant from novice to expert, thereby mitigating wading through the ocean of knowledge out there. There are a lot of senior IT people that are willing to mentor other people coming into the field. You can network with people in your IT or application development departments or utilize networking sites like LinkedIn. You can also Google your local IT meetups. The Hillview Group offers a year internship program that is structured as a mentorship program as well. For more information, you can send inquiries to service@hillviewgroupinc.com. Nothing beats hands-on experience. As you learn and are being mentored, you should make sure you are building solutions no matter how small. This gives you the opportunity to practice everything you are learning to ensure that you can implement them in your controlled environment. Apart from the practice that building solution affords you, You also start to build a portfolio of your work that can be very essential as you begin to look for job opportunities. Currently, the demand for IT talent outweighs the supply of such talent. As a result of this demand-supply mismatch, companies are willing to pay a premium to secure world-class talent. This is why the IT field is so lucrative. Everything we have discussed so far is aimed at positioning you to become that valuable talent that companies would like to employ or poach. This means you need to put in your best to distinguish yourself from the pool of talent in the job market. Landing an IT job is what you need to build industry experience in the IT field. You need to start polishing your resume, build a portfolio, and reach out to headhunters in your job search. This doesn't mean traditional employment is the only way to make a living in IT. You could build a business solution with the knowledge you acquired and get people to pay to use your solution. You should tap into your entrepreneurial spirit if you are so inclined. Finally, you could teach other people. For example, I believe programming is a life skill that everyone should have in this information age. You can help educate people and make this possible, or even become a mentor yourself. I promised you zero BS, and I'm going to deliver by being straightforward with you. Everything we've discussed, from understanding the IT landscape to picking a lane, committing to continuous learning, getting a mentor, practice by building solutions, all through to securing an IT role, requires an action on your part. I have demonstrated my bias for the software space and given the reasons above why you should strongly consider starting in the data tier. Armed with these directions, you can start your journey right now. A good place to start is to visit your local library. They all have an online portal where you can browse their catalog, reserve a book or multimedia resource, and have it on hold for you to pick up at your convenience. You wouldn't be able to check out if you are not registered though, so make sure you register with the library. Browse software development books or information technology books. You can start with ones targeted towards middle schooler. The goal here is not to make you a guru, but whet your appetite enough to get your engines revving. Then you can register with the Microsoft Learn portal with your Microsoft email account and start learning how software works. Consistency and a stick-to-it mindedness will be traits that will make you successful. I wish you all the best in your journey in the IT world. If you have any question or need further clarification on the subject we discussed above, do not hesitate to reach out to me via email at service@hillviewgroupinc.com. Good luck.